Helen,
And I'm Liz,
and we're sisters
scientists,
and lifelong X-Files fans.
and this is We Want to Believe.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back.
Welcome, colleagues.
Yes, we're talking about gargoyles today.
Ooh, gargoyles.
Gargoyles, yeah.
Before we get into the gargoyles, I have something I need to say. I don't know, again, like our memories, I listen to our podcasts, sometimes more than once. But last episode, we were talking about the Monty Hall problem, and I explained the whole thing. And then I realized that in our season 2 finale, so not that long ago.
Did you also talk about it? Oh,
Yep.
really?
Yep.
See, I think the issue is that we also hang out.
We talk.
I've been doing this with my classes because I have the 2 classes I'm teaching this semester. I have like half the same people in both classes. And so
Yeah.
like either repeating myself or not telling anyone anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I've told you this or not, or, and so
Yeah, that makes
they're
sense.
not getting important information or they're getting it twice, but there's no in between.
Yeah.
That's because I see them too often.
That makes sense.
I mean, I guess people will be very up to date on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Be well informed about the Money Hall problem.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goats and cars.
Yeah.
Cool. That's funny though. We said that recently, right? Where I talked about the same date.
Yep.
Like this is not the
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the guy who wanted truth and justice in Latin tattooed on him.
I should really try to look.
What if he's a listener? Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be awesome. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I guess. It would be weird.
It'd be weird. Yeah.
It'd be weird. So this week we're talking about Grotesque.
Oh yeah.
Which is, they don't say this in the episode, but some independent Googling tells me that grotesque is another name for gargoyle, essentially.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So according to Wikipedia, grotesque is a fantastic or mythical figure carved from stone and fixed to the walls or roof of a building.
Really fantastic one.
Yes, which may or may not include gargoyles. So gargoyles are like a type of grotesque. And it's actually pretty funny. If you look at the Wikipedia page for grotesque, there's like some pretty funny examples of like this little frog statue, like holding up a roof. And like, it's, more than your classic gargoyle.
Can I ask a question? Like, what's the point of gargoyles?
Oh, actually, we're going to get into that.
Excellent.
Yeah, I can tell you. So it opens with a naked guy modeling for a creepy art class.
Oh, it's a creepy art class?
It's a creepy art class, yeah, because it's very dark in there and silent. And
it was always dark and silent when I modeled for art classes.
It was never this dark. I mean, I also have modeled for art.
Oh yeah.
And it was never.
You weren't naked though, right?
No.
Okay, maybe the darkness has to do with the nudity.
I mean, like the artist would need to see to draw though. Like it can't be that dark in there.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, absolutely. It's just not like harsh fluorescent lights.
No.
Yeah.
But
this is like standard X-Files hallway lighting.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And the model looks a lot like Brendan Fraser in George of the Jungle. Got this like long hair and a very Brendan Fraser-y look about him. One guy is drawing super intensely, with a kind of crazed look in his eyes. And it turns out he's been drawing like a demon, or I mean, gargoyle is what we find out. But
he's not drawing the guy.
No, he's just there drawing a creepy face.
I would freak out if because like when I'd be like because I mean, it was, to be clear, this was 20 plus years ago. But I would like get a break, walk around and look at the paintings that people had done.
Right.
And if I saw one that was like a monster instead of me, I would be like, oh, maybe we're done.
Yeah. 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 And then he cuts himself and starts using his blood on the drawing as well. So we're you know,
They don't just let him keep doing that, right?
I mean, no one stops him. Like the class ends. So I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah. So the class ends and he kind of like scurries out.
I'm
Um,
sorry to interrupt again, but our mom runs an online art program, which, hey, free pitch, the Creative Collective, $9 a month. It's awesome. MaryTelfer.com. Anyway, she always says you can use whatever medium you want, but I think she'd draw the line there.
yeah, yeah. Um, and so the class ends, and I can't tell what's happening next because it is so poorly lit.
God.
But we see the model coming out to his car. There's stuff happening before of like the guy runs away. I can't tell what's happening after he runs away.
Oh my God.
But then the model is coming out to his car, and we can kind of see then the artist like stalking him, and then he attacks him.
Oh, ooh, okay.
Yeah. So
The artist attacks the model.
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So then we see the artist laying somewhere, in his lair, turns
Oh,
out.
I didn't. Okay, he's laying. Okay.
Yeah, he's asleep, and
Oh,
the
okay.
alarm is going off. And he's waking up, and as this is happening, the FBI breaks in and
Hmm.
arrests him.
Oh.
And it's Red from that '70s show is the
What?
FBI agent. Yeah, yeah,
No
he plays
way.
the role. Yeah, yep. Um, and his apartment, so the artist's apartment, has all sorts of those creepy drawings all over it, like plastered all over the
Mhm.
walls. And Red sees at this point in my notes, I was calling him Red because
I think that's fair.
yeah,
Yeah.
sees a box cutter on the floor and opens it, and there's blood on it. So probably
Hmm.
murder weapon
Okay.
in some
Yeah.
place. Okay. Yep. And so Mulder then is giving Scully a talk complete with slides and says that this is John Mostow, who is from Uzbekistan and apparently
Oh,
had spent time in some sort of mental health facility for a while there, like several years or something. Um, and that,
man, mental health facilities are really like people who stay in them, it's really stigmatized on the X-Files.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It's never I feel like it's never the victim or a side character who's in one. Well, I guess it is a side character in that one episode with Stigmata. It's the kid's dad, but
Oh, yeah, yeah.
he's real scary.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, no, and I mean, I get the impression this is much more like Mendota and Madison,
yeah,
the
like
criminal
for
sort of,
like the dangerous criminally
yeah,
people who pled insanity to some violent crime or something.
correct. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Um,
And
but
it's
we
like my awareness that you have a meeting is making me interrupt you all the more. Like I'm like, I know you have a time limit, and my brain is like, "Ooh, we should tell her this." Anyway, so
um so Mostow apparently killed at least 7 men, all 17 to 25. And the wound pattern on them was identical. They all had these like creepy facial cuts,
oh,
which I feel like had it been 15 years in the future, there would have been lots of like, let's put a smile on your face jokes. Um, the Joker.
the Joker.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And apparently Mostow is claiming that a spirit possessed him during the murders. So it
Hmm.
was not him. However, this is why they were brought in, was because Mostow has been in custody for 5 days, and a 19-year-old man was just found 6 miles from there, dead with the same wounds. And the
Ah,
public had been informed about that. So it's not like it was a copycat or something.
okay.
So they go to talk to him in prison, characteristically darkly lit.
Yeah.
Um, and they kind of, the light is kind of coming in the room, like Mulder and Scully are opening the door and
Mm,
it looks
hmm.
brighter. And he's like yelling to get the light off of him. And he's been drawing it, whatever it is, all over his prison cell.
Like the monster thing that he
Yeah.
was drawing. Okay.
And he says that it was the thing that killed those men. And Mulder or someone asks what it is, and he says all men know its name. And Mulder says something like, "Is it Satan? Is it?" And the guy is like saying no. So I don't actually know. I don't think all men know the name gargoyle to be a like this particular image, but like I don't know.
I'll ask Adam when we're done recording.
Yeah.
Tell me some names you know.
Yeah. Um, he clearly didn't know that it had killed again, though, like when they told
Oh, okay.
about the new killing. And he says that it must have found someone new. So then Red shows up at the prison and is talking to Mulder and Scully.
Does he call anyone a dumbass?
No, unfortunately. His name is Bill Patterson, apparently.
Okay.
And Mulder knows him because he did behavioral science at Quantico and is like apparently like
Oh.
doing
Oh,
that.
okay.
Knew Mulder pretty well. But it's very clear early on that him and Mulder do not get along. There's a lot of like, him making remarks about Mulder, hunting for aliens and
Mm.
Mulder just kind of not liking this guy.
Hmm.
And Mulder says that he thinks that he's drawing gargoyles because traditionally they protect. This doesn't really end up playing out much in the story, I don't think.
Hmm.
You can tell me what you think, but apparently Mulder claims at first that he thinks this is like a protection thing because gargoyles protect.
Okay.
And that is indeed what they are getting at. Gargoyles, stars, gargoyles, I don't know. But yeah, that is
So that's why you put them on a castle or whatever to be like back off. We got
yeah,
scary stuff here. Okay.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny, Mulder and Patterson are like still kind of arguing, and Patterson has a partner with him too, and the partner and Scully kind of like give each other a look. And
That's awesome.
pretty good, yeah. Um, so Mulder and Scully go to Mostow's apartment, the artist
Mhm.
killer, and they're seeing all his super creepy drawings. And there's like a cat that kind of jump scares them.
Mm, mhm.
And because of that, they find a secret room, like where the cat had come from.
Ooh,
And I know, I wish the cat
man,
bigger part of
what
this.
I wouldn't give for a secret room, you know?
I did see, did I tell this? Who
Is
knows?
this the hole in your floor?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you did. But like, what was it?
And I don't know what's in it. It's just in when we were getting the flooring replaced in our mudroom when we first moved
Yes.
in, they had ripped up the old stuff and there was like a perfectly cut rectangle in the floor that was nailed
Yes.
shut.
Yes.
And
How
I
often do you think about it?
pretty frequently.
Hmm.
I mean, my yeah, I mean, I have
Maybe.
a lot of non-weird guesses for what that could be involving like plumbing and stuff. But
Yeah, probably.
given that my house was built in 25, I would really love to find like alcohol in there or something,
Oh, that'd be
Like,
so awesome.
I know, I know. Maybe one day if I'm real bored. Uh, just start ripping up my floors.
Yeah, yeah, I think you should.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Um, so do secret room. Yes. And back there are also gargoyle sculptures and clay, like big
Hmm,
life-size clay gargoyles.
cool.
And Mulder notices something odd with one of them. I'm assuming he notices something odd. It was too poorly lit for me to see exactly what he was seeing. But he starts like picking at the clay, and there's a person underneath.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Um, so then we see another guy get attacked. We see a
Okay.
guy working at a glass studio, doing, glass blowing,
Hmm.
and something is stalking him, and he's attacked. So, um, then they're at the hospital. The guy under the clay was still alive.
Oh, no, I was about to say, now he wasn't alive, right? But then I was like, I don't need to say that. Obviously not.
Yes, he was. But five bodies were recovered at the apartment, and it was just the one guy who was alive.
Ooh.
So he'd been doing this to more. And Scully and I can't remember his name. We learn it later out. Like Nemhauser, I think, is the partner, Patterson's partner.
Mm-hmm.
And the partner thinks that Patterson specifically requested Mulder from Skinner. And like apparently after
Oh.
he says after a few beers, Patterson like won't shut up about how brilliant Mulder is, but like is kind of
Huh.
like won't admit it.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah. So then we see Mulder in a library, and is monologuing about gargoyles, and tells us that the name gargoyle comes from the French gargouille, which is correct.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
and it means throat or gullet. Uh,
Oh.
yeah.
I bet it must also relate to gargle then.
Oh, I bet you're right.
Yeah.
Ah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I bet you're right. I want to look that up. Um, and it's clear he's like looking up more information about gargoyles. Um, which again, like I love libraries a lot, but the
Oh,
idea
yeah.
of being like, I need to learn about gargoyles. I have to go to a library is pretty
It's
funny.
it's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, again, I don't feel like the 90s was that long ago, but that is just like a major, major difference. Like,
Yeah.
I might go online and order some books for some more in-depth research from a library,
Right.
but I wouldn't just like wander into a library and be like, give me all you got on gargoyles as a first step. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if I lived near a really enormous research library or something.
Yeah.
But
Or
again, I would
just
think
like,
like only for in-depth, like if I were doing like a research
right.
paper or writing a novel or like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, not
Right.
just,
Or
oh,
if
it comes
it's
from the
like
French.
something you need like good sources on, or that's not widely known, like not just like
Give
gonna
me the basics on
right.
gargoyles.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway. But it was the 90s. So that's not what was happening here. And so Patterson shows up and they bicker. Um, and they keep going back to this. They say something about how apparently Patterson always said that to catch a monster, you had to know it or become it or something like that. And kind of insinuating that like Mulder says something about like, see, I'm doing what you always said to do. Like,
Hmm.
I'm trying to get into his headspace essentially. And then
When Chris's dog Pro got out, they had to think where would Pro go, and they found him at the park.
really,
So yeah, they
he
had to
was
hunt a
so
monster, and the
smart.
monster was Pro, and he went to the park. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. Um, Unfortunately, when my dog got out, it was where would he go? He would hide in the woods.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Leo.
Aw.
Later at Mulder's apartment, Scully is knocking and he doesn't answer. He's not there. So she lets herself in and he has got creepy stuff all over his walls with that gargoyle
Oh.
on it. So that's
Ah,
not great.
no.
Um, and Mulder is at Mostow's house. Now, I say the word house. Sometimes I use the word in my notes apartment. It's really neither. It's like a,
You said lair initially.
yeah, that's more accurate.
Okay. And just to be clear, it was Mulder's apartment covered in creepy stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is an actual apartment.
Yes.
Mostow lives in like a back room in a warehouse, as far as I can tell. I don't know.
Huh.
It's very poorly lit. I don't know. Maybe it's a condo. I couldn't tell you. Um, so Mulder is at Mostow's house looking at his art that's still there. And suddenly he's sculpting. and falls asleep on Mostow's couch.
Okay.
And
What? Okay.
yeah, and he wakes up when someone walks into the room, and so Mulder chases him, and the thing guy, I don't know what it is that's chasing him. I don't know if it's like a gargoyle or a person possessed by them. Sneaks up at Mulder at one point and kind of has like the opportunity to hurt him, I guess, or catch him, but he kind of just like pushes Mulder so that Mulder falls into a laundry cart, as far as I can tell. Um, I don't know where this is. I told you. I don't know what kind of building this is. And the guy escapes. So
Okay.
Scully's there, and Mulder is insisting to her that it's real. So the
The
gargoyle,
gargoyle.
whatever it is, yeah. And she confronts him about the drawings at his apartment. Uh,
Yes.
and she says that she confirmed that Patterson did request his involvement in the
Oh,
case.
okay. Okay. And Patterson is red. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And so Mulder drives off, and Scully goes up to talk to Patterson. And Patterson basically tells Scully, like, just let Mulder do whatever he wants, essentially.
Hmm.
Like, don't get in his way. He knows what he's doing, which is interesting. And then Patterson also leaves, but as Scully's walking out, she sees a razor blade stuck in the wheel of a police car. And so she looks underneath and she sees a box cutter that looks a lot like the murder weapon, the one that Red had originally
Yeah.
found, Patterson had originally
Yeah.
found at Mostow's apartment. So Mulder, it turns out, was going to the prison to talk to Mostow, and he basically is doing a like, tell me more sort of a thing.
Hmm.
And he asks him why it didn't kill him like it killed the others. And also wants to know how he can find it. And Mostow just kind of like gives a half answer of like, well, it will find you.
Hmm.
And Mulder punches him.
Oh,
And yeah.
that's not cool, man.
And Mostow says maybe it already has.
Ooh.
Uh,
Yeah.
so Mulder clearly is like maybe possessed or maybe going too deep into the psyche of a guy possessed by gargoyles. And it's kind of
Okay.
unclear.
And like, what makes us think this is a gargoyle that has possessed him, other than that he keeps sculpting gargoyles and drawing gargoyles?
Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right.
Yeah. Um, so and well, and like the can't be a second like same killings, but Mastow's locked up, but he does not
Okay, so it's
kill
like it's
her. Like,
something, but it's
yeah,
like we don't mention like buildings or
no,
anything or architecture
no,
or okay.
no. So Scully is at the fingerprint lab. She had taken the box cutter and the blade that she found there.
Good. Good.
Uh, and the agent there notes that it's weird because the prints were oriented so that someone would have been like holding on the blade, like a blade facing them, as opposed to
Oh, okay.
you would traditionally hold it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it turns out they were Mulder's prints. And she's like, "Oh, I just assumed, he was the one who'd recovered it." And Scully is like, "Oh." Uh, and so Scully then goes to the evidence room and sees that the box cutter that had been collected initially as evidence is missing. So it
So
is,
presumably that's that one.
yes. Yep. Um, and there's like a brief scene. The guy in the evidence room gets a call, and it's Skinner looking for Scully,
Got it.
and does the whole kind of what's Mulder up to, this is nonsense, blah, 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 sort of thing. It's very brief.
Mhm.
But Mulder is back at Mostow's apartment, and is ambushed then by Patterson and his partner.
Hmm.
And they like attack him. But then it turns
Oh.
out that's actually a dream. And
Oh.
Mulder wakes up and he's just asleep on his own couch, surrounded by all the creepy art.
Hmm.
So naturally, he gets up and goes to Mostow's apartment. Uh, And so he's kind of walking around looking at the art and he sees a trail of blood. And so he follows it and sees a body. So,
Is nobody watching this apartment better? Like they don't have somebody like clearly there's way too much action still happening in this place.
yeah, I mean, you shouldn't disturb a crime scene at all, let alone like fall asleep. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know no, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, so Scully calls Patterson's partner, Nemhauser, Nuthauser, something,
Mhm.
and Mulder answers his phone.
Oh.
And Scully asks if he's with him, and he says no. And so Mulder is just in the warehouse or whatever, answering Nemhauser's phone, and there's a body on the floor. Do you see where this is going?
Is Nemhauser dead?
Yeah. Yeah. But
Ah.
he just says no, he's not with him. And
Doesn't it make Mulder seem super guilty?
yes. Yep. And Scully
Huh.
confronts him about the knife and his
Yeah.
fingerprints being on it. And he says that he just went to touch it in the evidence room just to see what it felt like.
Oh,
Um,
that's a reassuring answer. Okay.
yep. Yeah. And so Scully tells him to stay put and is like, listen, just like stay where you are, do not leave, and is like
Yeah.
really concerned.
Yeah.
And so Mulder is walking around and there's like a half bust of a brand new clay gargoyle. So there's like someone's been sculpting again, essentially. And it's a new one because the clay looks wet. And it's like not half bust.
Hmm.
Yeah, half bust. I don't know. Cut off at like the chest area. Regular bust.
Yeah, I think that's just a bust. I've
Okay.
never been totally clear on what makes something a bust. It's not the whole body. I know that.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
Not
it's
the
a
whole
head and
body.
shoulders thing. Okay.
Knees and
Not knees and toes. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and so Mulder goes up to it and starts ripping open the clay, and there's a person inside.
Oh,
And
how did they fit a whole person in
nope,
just a head?
it's just the head.
Oh, but it's not Nemhauser because
No,
his
it
head
is.
is
It's Nemhauser's head.
Oh, was his body headless?
They didn't show us that.
Oh,
Now we realize that yes, it must be.
okay. It seems like it could have been a more powerful reveal. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
probably too darkly lit.
Probably was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Mulder is like seeing this, seeing that it's a new head.
Mhm.
And Patterson shows up. And Mulder says that Patterson must have killed him.
Yeah, that
Uh,
seems like the thing to assume at this point. I've been thinking it's got to be Patterson.
yeah. And Mulder holds him at gunpoint and wants to know what he's doing there. Like, why did you just happen to randomly show up here? Uh, and he's like, Patterson is, just like, I don't know, I'm investigating. I can't remember what he says, but, not like
He
admitting,
doesn't have
not,
yeah, okay.
yeah. Um, but then Mulder says, look at your hands. And Patterson looks down. His hands are covered in clay.
Oh,
Yeah. And but Patterson's then super confused and doesn't understand what's happening. Like he
oh,
clear some sort of, gargoyle possessed fugue state or something. Uh
yeah.
and Mulder says that Patterson must have wanted to stop, and that's why he brought Mulder into the case, because he knew that Mulder would be able to believe what was happening and stop him, essentially.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And so Scully shows up and has her flashlight. See, this is where I get confused again, because she shows up, she has her flashlight, and Mulder says to get the light off of him. Which kind of harkens back to the guy originally.
Hmm.
So it's like, well, are we supposed to think that maybe Mulder was possessed at some point? I don't know.
Oh, Mulder's to take the light off of Mulder, off of
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Patterson runs, and so they
Oh.
chase him. And eventually they kind of end up on the roof, and Patterson jumps Mulder and has a box cutter.
Mm.
And Mulder shoots him.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
and he kind of like falls off a little like part of the building to like a lower part of the building, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And so Scully and Mulder both run there, and he's apparently still alive. He's still breathing, so they're
Mm.
gonna call the paramedics. And it kind of like zooms out a bit. So like Mulder and Scully crouched by Patterson's body, and
Hmm.
it zooms out, and there's like a super creepy, realistic looking gargoyle on the roof right above them.
What?
Yeah. So like presumably it like left Patterson's body or something. This is, I see, and this is where if this were all just about like demons, I would buy it. Like they make that whole point of like gargoyles being protective. I don't know what like the motivation is for the gargoyle.
I mean, like, I don't think anyone ever claimed gargoyles were real. I thought,
Yeah.
like,
Well, no, that's what they thought was possessing people.
no, no, I mean, not in the episode. I mean, in history.
Oh, yeah.
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 Sorry, that would, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like, demons or whatever, they're like scary stories that people would talk about them being active. As far as I know, gargoyles are just the name for the things that people carve. So who's this little monster guy? What were his motivations? Why does he like to carve people?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I think I have a lot of questions
There
that you
is,
don't have
well,
answers to.
there is apparently. So, I mean, uh, this apparently harkens back to a French legend
Hmm.
about the gargouille.
Hmm.
Uh, but like this is where they came from originally. Apparently, La Gargouille is said to have been a typical dragon-like creature.
Oh.
Um, and eventually Saint Romanus slayed him, basically.
Hmm. Okay.
But it's like the gargouille was burned, but its head and neck wouldn't burn due to being like tempered by its own fire breath.
Oh.
And so then its head was mounted on the walls of some sort of church or castle or something to scare away evil
Oh,
spirits.
okay. So that's the okay, that's the
But it's
legend.
not,
Okay.
no, but it's not like you hear like you're not scared by the legend of Gargouille. I
It's
mean,
not like every man doesn't know the name Gargui.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and
I
then
don't know. Now I've just got the Cheers theme song in my head about where everybody knows your
oh,
name. Yeah.
and then 2 weeks later, we see Patterson in prison shouting
Oh.
about how it wasn't him, he didn't do it. And there's a drawing of a gargoyle in blood in his cell, and that's it.
So what are we meant to think then? He's like
The
still
gargoyle
possessed?
was doing it.
Yes, but then if
Oh.
Patterson drew the gargoyle, is the gargoyle still inside him?
Maybe, or maybe it like drove him mad, like Moscow had been, and now
Hmm.
it found someone else. I don't know. Um,
I mean, gargoyles don't strike me as a spirit, like as a thing that possesses.
right. Same.
Yes. I mean, my issue with gargoyles, it's not an issue, is my misconception is I kept thinking, oh, if they were real, and I pictured them being like, I guess what I actually pictured them is being like Mario in Super Mario 3 when he wore the Tanuki suit and he would like sometimes be like a raccoon and then he could turn into stone. And so
Yeah.
I think I pictured them like that, like they can just like whoosh, do now they're in stone, but I think I just created that myself.
I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they can do that, but then instead of being Mario, they're a ghost. I don't know.
Yeah, like when they're in the form, when Mario is the, like if we're doing an
Yeah.
analogy,
Yeah.
when Mario is in raccoon form, they're in their ghost form.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's
And
all
then
I
they're
got.
like whoosh,
Yeah.
stone. Yeah.
I did think it was an interesting episode, and it was fun to watch the parts of
Oh,
it
okay.
physically able to see. Um, because it was like a little spooky, and it's like, you don't know if Mulder is the one who's possessed or not. And so like you're kind of unsure of what's happening. And uh I mean, the plot holes felt like spooky plot holes and not plot holes. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, like, oh, it's something unexplained because of spookiness as opposed to unexplained because of laziness.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought it was pretty good.
Oh, good. I'm
Yeah.
glad.
Yeah. I enjoyed myself. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Now I
Up
want to
next,
learn more about gargoyle.
yeah, Gargui. And I want to know, like, is that gargle? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Me, some of my linguist anthropology friends are listening and can
Oh,
tell me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Up next is Piper Maru.
Yes. Oh, I'm so jealous.
Oh, you know this one.
Right? Isn't it a conspiracy one?
Is it? Oh my God, I don't know.
Isn't it?
I don't know. It's a boat.
Yeah. Uh,
I don't know. What I've got is divers from a French salvage ship fall prey to a bizarre illness
yeah.
after working on a mysterious wreckage from World War II.
Yes. Yep. Uh-huh.
This isn't okay. You know what it is? I'm mixing it up with the one where Mulder and Scully are on a ship and they accidentally end up really old.
Oh, that's triangle.
No, 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 no. It's not
No?
Triangle, which is amazing. It is an episode we've already done on the podcast because I remember you being like, tell
Ooh,
me if they're still
yes.
old in the next episode.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Yeah. That one I don't remember the name of.
as we've established, we don't
Don't
keep super good
remember
track.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, Piper Maru involves the black oil.
No.
Ah,
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, I gotta get
yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
Like, what do I mean? Like emotionally? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm thinking of is Dode Calm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. No, different book.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm mixing up my
Yeah.
boat episodes.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Exciting times.
Oh my God, the black oil.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's exciting. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, follow us, like us, leave us.
Please do all that stuff. Tell people. Yeah, email us. Oh, I needed to tell everyone this really quickly. Last night I looked out my window and was like, is that a UFO?
What?
Yeah. I was sitting on the couch watching TV and then I was like, huh, those are some weird lights. Pretty sure it was a plane, but they looked like they were rising straight up and like blinking. There was like green and blue and white lights and just like boop, 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 raising. And I have that like
How
pretty
far away?
small, pretty not that far. If it's a plane, it had to be somewhat close based on the size.
Okay.
Um,
Because I'm thinking,
it
like, could it be a helicopter?
maybe.
You have heard it if it was, or was it far enough away?
I think it's far enough away. I wouldn't have heard it. And we had the TV
Okay.
on. And
Okay.
I mean,
Huh.
it was dark out. I saw some lights. They were going up. And I just in my head was like, remember this.
Oh,
So
oh. Well,
yeah,
report back.
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, yeah. It
All
was
right.
just out my like little windows. So like I didn't see it
Okay.
for that long. So
Were there trees in the way, or was it?
no, it was like above
Okay.
the tree line.
Oh,
So
hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Let us
Huh.
know if you see it again.
I will. I will
Yeah.
keep you posted on its whereabouts. All right.
All right. See you next time.
Bye. We Want to Believe is hosted by Helen Werner and Liz Holden. It's produced by Zach Werner. The We Want to Believe theme music was created and recorded by Zach Werner. Find us at wewanttoBelievePod.com, on Instagram at wewanttoBelievePod, or send us an email at wewanttoBelievePod@gmail.com.